Have you noticed how, after a certain age, your home, your mind, and even your heart start filling up with things that no longer serve you, yet you keep carrying them as if they were essential? I'm not just talking about objects in a drawer, but also habits, guilt, and unspoken words that quietly steal your peace and wither you from within. The hardest part is that no one forced these burdens on you. You accepted them little by little until they became part of who you are. And yet, there comes a moment when life puts an uncomfortable truth right in front of you. If you don't let go of what no longer belongs, you'll never make room for what can still bring you joy. Today, I want you to bravely look at what you've been dragging along without reason. I'm not talking about a superficial change, but a profound act of dignity, because after 60, what weighs you down the most isn't the years. It's the things you still hold on to without purpose. And let me warn you, the last of these burdens is the most dangerous, the most subtle, and if you don't recognize it, it can steal even the peace you've spent so long searching for. I'm John, and this won't be a light stroll. It will be a much-needed shakeup. We're going to go through 9 things you need to remove from your life if you truly want to experience happiness that is both immediate and lasting. Stay until the end because the final point may just be the key that restores the serenity you deserve. I want to start with this point. Let go of constant complaining that drains your energy. You may not realize it, but every time you repeat phrases like, "They don't pay attention to me anymore," or "Everything hurts," you're feeding a silent cycle that robs you of strength. Complaining doesn't change what you're going through. It only magnifies it. Worse yet, it traps you in the role of a victim, slowly extinguishing the vitality you still have. It's like carrying a backpack full of stones you've placed there yourself. At first, it seems light, but over the years, it becomes an unbearable weight. The most deceptive thing about complaining is that it disguises itself as relief. You think that talking about pain will ease it, but when you repeat it day after day, all you do is reinforce it. I remember a man who, after losing his wife, would tirelessly repeat that life no longer had meaning. His pain was real. No one denied that, but the constant repetition became a poison that distanced him from friends, family, and even his own hope. What began as a cry for help turned into a wall that isolated him. The Stoics understood this clearly. Seneca wrote, "We suffer not from events themselves, but from the way we see them." That means that while pain is inevitable, the way we interpret it and keep repeating it is up to us. Constant complaining is like watering a garden with stagnant water. Nothing blooms there. Only the mold of resignation grows. Imagine for a moment that every word you speak becomes a seed that falls into your inner soil. What kind of harvest would you reap if those seeds were complaints, reproaches, and laments? Without realizing it, you'd be cultivating a barren field incapable of giving you fruit. But if you choose to change just one word, if instead of saying, "I'm exhausted," you say, "Today I need rest," your field begins to transform. Not because the exhaustion disappears, but because you stop handing over your power. The challenge here is not to deny what hurts, but to stop narrating it as if it were an unavoidable fate. Ask yourself, how many times a day do I talk about my pains, and how many times about my joys? Make a conscious effort to reduce the first count and increase the second. You don't need to erase reality, only balance the scale, because what you repeat is what you plant, and what you plant is what you live. Letting go of complaints doesn't mean silencing what you feel. It means giving it a different, more dignified outlet. You can pray, write, meditate, but don't surrender your voice to a habit that only empties you. Remember this, happiness doesn't come when everything outside changes, but when you change what you choose to nurture within yourself. And constant complaining, if you don't release it, will remain the first chain keeping you from feeling free. Let go of constant complaining that drains your energy. In the quiet corners of our lives, it's easy to fall into the habit of constant complaining. It's a subtle thief that robs us of our energy and peace. often without us even noticing. Imagine you're sitting in your favorite chair in your home in Chicago, looking out the window at the bustling city, and you find yourself muttering about the aches and pains that come with age. Each time you voice these complaints, you're reinforcing a narrative that life is nothing but a series of discomforts. But let's take a step back and consider the words of Seneca, who reminded us that our suffering comes not from the events themselves, but from how we perceive them. In Chicago, where the wind can be as harsh as the winters, it's tempting to complain about the cold. Yet, if you shift your focus from the chill to the beauty of the snow-covered streets, you begin to see the world differently. The same principle applies to our internal dialogue. If you find yourself constantly complaining about your health or the lack of attention from others, pause and ask yourself, what am I nurturing within myself with these words? Complaining is like watering a garden with stagnant water. It might seem like you're tending to your needs, but in reality, you're fostering a landscape of resignation and despair. Consider the story of Robert, a retired teacher who lived in a small apartment overlooking Lake Michigan. After losing his wife, he found himself repeating that life had lost its meaning. His pain was genuine, but his constant complaints built a wall around him, isolating him from the very people who could have offered solace. The Stoics teach us that we have control over our responses to life's challenges. By choosing to focus on what we can change our attitude and our words, we can begin to transform our inner landscape. So, here's a practical step you can take today. The next time you feel the urge to complain about your aches or the lack of attention, try reframing your words. Instead of saying, "I'm exhausted," say, "Today, I need rest." This small shift can begin to change the seeds you plant in your mind. Ask yourself how often you talk about your pains versus your joys. Make a conscious effort to balance the scale. You don't need to ignore reality, but you can choose to focus on what brings you peace and vitality. Letting go of constant complaining is not about silencing your feelings. It's about giving them a more dignified outlet. Whether through prayer, writing, or meditation, find a way to express your emotions that doesn't drain you, but rather replenishes your spirit. Remember, happiness doesn't come from external changes, but from the choices you make about what to nurture within yourself. If you release the habit of complaining, you'll find that it's the first chain holding you back from true freedom. If this resonates with you, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on how often you complain and consider making a change. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more insights on living a fulfilling life after 60. Release comparison with others and reclaim your own worth. As we journey further into the heart of our lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others. You might be sitting in your cozy home in San Francisco, looking at the vibrant city life through your window, and find yourself envying the neighbor who seems to be always on the go, or the friend who posts pictures of their latest adventure on social media. But let's take a moment to consider the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who urged us not to waste time arguing about what a good person should be, but to simply be one. Comparison is a silent poison that erodes our self-worth and joy. When you compare your life to someone else's, you're not seeing the full story. You don't know the struggles they faced or the sacrifices they've made. It's like looking at a majestic redwood tree in California's forests and feeling envious without realizing the storms it has endured. Your life, with its unique tapestry of experiences, is incomparable. Every thread, whether it's a mistake, a victory, or a loss, contributes to the beauty of your journey. Imagine your life as a canvas. Every brushstroke you've made, every color you've chosen, forms a masterpiece that is uniquely yours. If you try to replace your colors with someone else's, you risk losing the essence of your own art. The next time you catch yourself thinking, "They have it better than me," or "I could never achieve what they have," try reframing it. Say to yourself, "My story is mine alone, and I can still write it." This simple shift in perspective can be a powerful act of reclaiming your dignity and worth. In the bustling streets of San Francisco, where everyone seems to be chasing something. It's easy to feel like you're falling behind. But remember, your path is not a race against others. It's a journey of self-discovery and growth. The Stoics remind us that true value lies in living with integrity, not in measuring ourselves against others. When you let go of comparison, you begin to see yourself through your own eyes, not through the distorted lens of someone else's life. Here's a practical exercise to help you break free from the habit of comparison. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you're grateful for in your life. It could be the warmth of your home, the laughter of your grandchildren, or the simple joy of a cup of coffee in the morning. By focusing on what you have, rather than what others have, you'll begin to reclaim your sense of worth and peace. If this message resonates with you, consider sharing your experience in the comments below. Write the phrase, "I am enough," along with the city you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more insights on living a fulfilling life after 60. Free yourself from objects that carry guilt and heavy memories. As we age, our homes often become museums of our past, filled with objects that no longer bring joy, but instead stir up feelings of guilt and heavy memories. You might be sitting in your living room in Boston, surrounded by items that remind you of past grievances or lost opportunities. It's not the accumulation of things that weighs us down, but the accumulation of wounds they represent. Consider the story of Elizabeth, a retired nurse who kept her late husband's favorite rocking chair in her home. Even though it brought her pain every time she saw it, she told herself it was out of habit. But deep down, the chair was a constant reminder of her loss and the life they had planned together. When she finally decided to give it away, she felt a weight lift off her shoulders. The air in her home seemed to change, and she could breathe more freely. The Stoics teach us that true freedom begins when we stop depending on external objects to define our internal state. Epictetus emphasized that our attachment to the emotions tied to these objects is what truly binds us. Letting go of items loaded with guilt or pain is not just a material act. It's a spiritual exercise. It's telling your soul, "I'm no longer defined by what I suffered. I'm defined by what I choose to hold on to today." Imagine walking through your home and noticing which objects stir discomfort instead of serenity. If an item gives you a knot in your stomach or a shadow of sadness, it's not serving you. You don't need it as a reminder, because what matters from that story is already within you, the lessons learned, not the things kept. Think of every item you let go of as opening a window to let fresh air in. You're not losing anything. You're gaining space for what truly nourishes you. Here's a challenge for you this week. Choose just one object that no longer brings you peace and let it go. Don't overthink it. Don't look for excuses. Give it away, donate it, or throw it out if you must. But don't let it stay in your space one more day. That small gesture will send a clear message to your mind that you're ready to empty yourself of guilt and open up to a lighter kind of happiness. If this message resonates with you, if you feel like in some way I'm speaking directly to your life, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Tell me in the comments what city you're watching from and write the phrase, "My peace is not negotiable." That will be your sign that you're ready to release what no longer belongs to you. Because remember, true happiness isn't found in holding on. It's found in letting go of what was never meant to stay. Break away from conversations that always revolve around illness. In the quiet moments of our lives, it's easy to find ourselves caught in conversations that revolve endlessly around illness. You might be sitting at a gathering in New York City, listening to friends or family discuss their latest medical issues, and before you know it, you're feeling the weight of their fears and pains. These conversations can act like a distorted mirror, magnifying your own discomforts and turning what was once bearable into a monster. The Stoics often spoke of the importance of choosing wisely what we feed our minds. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When our conversations are constantly soaked in complaints and fears about illness, our souls can become gray and dim, with no space left for light. This doesn't mean denying the reality of our bodies, but it does mean not giving it the first and last word in every conversation. Imagine every conversation as a shared table. If only dishes of pain are served, no matter how hungry you are for joy, you'll end up swallowing bitterness. But if you dare to bring something else to the table, a book, an experience, a joyful story, not only do you nourish yourself, but you give others the chance to taste something different. Shifting the direction of a conversation can be more powerful than you think. Sometimes, just one sentence is enough to change the atmosphere of an entire group. Here's something practical you can try. The next time you find yourself in a dialogue stuck on illnesses, gently interrupt with a different question. Ask about a happy memory, a dream still waiting to be fulfilled, or a small detail from the day. Not everyone will follow, but those who do will receive a gift, the reminder that we are not just deteriorating bodies, but souls with stories, desires, and the ability to keep creating. Breaking away from these conversations isn't selfishness, it's self-respect. Every word you consume is either medicine or poison. By choosing to step out of the spiral of ailments, you're not denying your reality, you're protecting your dignity. Remember this: pain may be part of life, but it has no right to occupy all your words. Choose to speak about what still blooms, and you'll see how happiness finds room to enter. If this message resonates with you, consider sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Write the phrase, "I choose joy," along with the city you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more insights on living a fulfilling life after 60. Remove from your life those who only subtract and never add. As we navigate the later chapters of our lives, it's crucial to recognize the people who only know how to drain us without ever adding to our well-being. You might be sitting in your home in Miami, reflecting on the relationships that have left you feeling more exhausted than fulfilled. These individuals, whether they're disguised as friends or family, can be like hidden holes where your energy leaks away. The hard part is recognizing them, because they're often people close to us, those with whom we've shared years of our lives. You might justify their behavior by thinking, "That's just how they are," or "They'll never change." But every encounter with them becomes a reminder of what strips you of dignity. And the most painful truth is that out of fear of loneliness, you keep letting them into your home, your time, your heart. Seneca put it plainly, "It's better to be alone than in bad company." This isn't just a comforting phrase, it's a warning. Toxic relationships don't just affect our emotions, they impact our health. The stress caused by these interactions can lead to insomnia, chronic fatigue, and aches and pains that no doctor can explain. All of this because we didn't dare to set a clear boundary. Picture your life as a garden. Every person you let in is a seed. Some grow into flowers that beautify your space, while others turn into weeds that choke out what could have flourished. You can't stop a harmful seed from appearing, but you can decide to pull it out before it consumes the soil. Letting go of those who only drain you is an act of inner gardening, clearing the ground so that what truly matters can bloom. Try this simple exercise. Think about how you feel after spending time with someone. If you end up more tired, frustrated, or with the sense that you wasted your time, that person is subtracting from you. If instead you leave feeling calm or inspired, even after a short conversation, that person is adding to your life. The difference is clear, and your task is to choose who continues to share your energy. Don't forget this. At this stage of life, your time is gold, and you can't afford to waste it on people who only wear you down. Walking away isn't cruelty, it's self-respect. Every day you choose to stay where you're only carrying others' burdens, you're denying yourself the chance to enjoy the serenity that is still yours. And serenity at this point in life is not a luxury, it's a vital necessity. If this message resonates with you, consider sharing your experience in the comments below. Write the phrase, "I choose peace," along with the city you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more insights on living a fulfilling life after 60. Abandon the need to justify every decision you make. As we grow older, It's common to feel the need to justify every decision we make. You might be sitting in your home in Seattle, feeling the pressure to explain why you chose to spend your money on something that brings you joy, or why you decided to stay home instead of attending a family gathering. This habit of justifying yourself isn't courtesy. It's an invisible chain that keeps you tied to other people's approval, as if your life always required someone else's permission. The saddest part is that this pattern often comes from years of silent giving. You were a parent, a partner, a caretaker, a support for everyone. In that role, you learned that your worth depended on explaining yourself so you wouldn't be seen as selfish. But now, at this stage of life, every justification works like a surrender. Every time you explain your right to rest, to choose, to say no, you're giving away a piece of your dignity. Do you really need permission to live the way you choose? Stoicism makes it clear. Freedom doesn't depend on external circumstances, but on the inner strength with which you decide. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Tranquility comes from living in harmony with your nature." That harmony can't be negotiated with excuses or validated by arguments. When you spend your days justifying your steps, you're breaking the harmony of your own life just to maintain an image that only serves others. Imagine your life as a book. Every page you justify is like letting someone else edit your sentences. Cross out your words and scribble notes in the margins about what you should have written. In the end, that book no longer belongs to you. It becomes a shared story filled with opinions you never asked for. Letting go of the need to justify yourself is reclaiming authorship of your story. It's writing in your own hand. Even if others don't like the style, try it in your daily life. The next time you make a simple decision like resting in the afternoon or not answering the phone, practice not giving explanations. Stay in the silence of your choice, even if others frown. You'll discover that the world doesn't collapse and your peace holds up stronger than you imagine. That practice, repeated little by little, strengthens the root of your freedom. Remember this firmly. A life that must justify itself at every step ceases to be truly your own. And at this stage, the last thing you deserve is to keep asking for permission to exist. Let go of that need, and you'll see happiness appear immediately because it will no longer depend on what others say, but on who you decide to be. If this message resonates with you, consider sharing your experience in the comments below. Write the phrase, "I am free," along with the city you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more insights on living a fulfilling life after 60. Let go of the fear of change and dare to start again. As we journey through life, it's easy to hear a silent voice whispering, "It's too late for me." You might be sitting in your home in Denver, feeling that anything new is reserved for the young. But let's take a moment to consider the wisdom of Seneca, who said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This is proof that you can always begin again. Life is full of examples of people who, after 60 or 70, discovered new passions, learning to sing, to paint, to travel, to love in a different way, not because they had a guaranteed future, but because they understood that the only reality is the present, and in the present, there is always room for a beginning. Think of your life as a river. The water is never the same. It's always moving, always renewing itself. Clinging to the idea that you can't change anymore is like trying to trap water in your hands. You end up empty, motionless, without freshness. But when you decide to flow with what comes, your life regains that sense of vitality that once felt lost. It doesn't matter if the step is big or small. What matters is that you move, that you choose, that you dare. Maybe the change you need isn't monumental. It could be enrolling in a simple class, daring to take a short trip, picking up a hobby you once abandoned, or just walking a new route through your neighborhood. Every small gesture sends a powerful message to your mind. I'm still alive. I'm still moving forward. I can still transform. And that message cuts the root of resignation, the very thing that harms old age the most. The fear of change often comes from other people's voices. Children saying, "That's not for you anymore." friends questioning, why now? But those voices don't live in your skin. They don't feel your heart. They don't know your dreams. The only permission you need is the one you give yourself. Every time you choose to begin again, even in small ways, you reclaim a piece of your dignity. Hold on to this unshakable truth. Life doesn't end as long as you have the courage to reinvent yourself. And fear, no matter how strong it feels, is always weaker than a decision made with faith in yourself. Let go of that chain, and you'll see how even at your age, starting over becomes the greatest act of immediate happiness. If this message resonates with you, consider sharing your experience in the comments below. Write the phrase, "I dare to begin," along with the city you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more insights on living a fulfilling life after 60. Leave behind the accumulated resentment that ages more than time itself. As we age, it's easy to carry inside us names, scenes, and words that hurt as if they had happened yesterday. You might be sitting in your home in Austin, feeling the weight of old arguments with siblings, broken promises from partners, or ingratitude from children. Every time those memories return, they don't just wound your heart, your body feels it too. The tension in your back, the sleepless nights, the unexplained fatigue. Resentment is like a silent acid that corrodes everything it touches. And as long as you hold on to it, it will keep stealing your peace and your youth. The most deceptive part is that we often believe resentment gives us strength, as if it could protect us from being hurt again. But the truth is, the only one carrying that weight is you, not the other person. It's like drinking poison and expecting the harm to fall on the one who wronged you. Meanwhile, the years etch themselves deeper into your face and spirit, not because of time itself, but because of the hardness that resentment plants within you. The Stoics remind us that we cannot control what others did, only how we choose to respond. Epictetus said it clearly. It is not things themselves that disturb us, but the opinions we have about them. The harm already happened, but resentment is the choice to relive it every day in your memory. Letting go doesn't mean excusing the other person. It means freeing yourself from the invisible chain that keeps you stuck. Picture your life as a house. Every resentment you hold on to is like sealing a window with bricks. At first, the house feels protected, but little by little, it grows darker, damper, airless. When you finally choose to forgive, not out of kindness to the other, but out of dignity toward yourself, it's like knocking down a wall and letting the light pour in. The house is the same, but now it breathes, now it blooms. Here's an intimate exercise. Think of one person you still hold resentment against. Write them a letter, not to send, but to release from your chest the words you never said. Then tuck it away in a drawer or burn it. That symbolic act is your way of telling yourself, I will no longer let this memory keep aging my soul. What you don't release ties you down. What you let go gives you back your freedom. Remember this firmly. Years alone don't destroy happiness. The weight of resentment does. Letting it go doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means honoring your life by choosing peace over wounds, because there is no cream or remedy that rejuvenates more than a heart free of resentments. If this message resonates with you, consider sharing your experience in the comments below. Write the phrase, "I choose forgiveness," along with the city you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more insights on living a fulfilling life after 60. Let go of the idea that your peace needs permission or explanation. For far too long, you've gotten used to justifying your silences, giving reasons when you chose to rest, apologizing for not being available. It's as if your tranquility always had to pass through someone else's approval, as if your right to live in calm needed to be examined before being accepted. But the truth is different. Your peace is yours, and as long as you keep explaining it, it will remain fragile. The hardest part is that often the ones who question your serenity the most are those who benefited from your sacrifice. children who expect you to always say yes, friends who only show up when they need something, relatives who interpret your silence as a lack of love. And in that dynamic, every explanation you give becomes another brick in the prison of guilt. Because when you justify your peace, you're really asking for permission to be happy. And that is the greatest mistake you can make at this stage of life. The Stoics warned us, true freedom doesn't depend on what others understand, but on the firmness with which you live your decisions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, serenity comes when you stop worrying about what doesn't depend on you, and your peace doesn't depend on other people's opinions. It depends on your will to hold it steady and unapologetic. Picture your peace as a sanctuary. Every time you give unnecessary explanations, it's like opening its doors and letting anyone walk in to question how you decorated it, how you care for it, how you live in it. The sanctuary loses its power because it's no longer entirely yours. But when you choose to close it with respect and dignity, not as a wall of pride, but as a sacred space, it regains its greatness. And then your calm becomes silent authority. You don't need to defend it. It simply stands on its own. I want you to see this as a final act of decision. From now on, when someone questions your distance, your silence, or your rest, respond with serenity, without explanations. Let your actions speak. Let your steady gaze say what words no longer need to. That practice, carried over time, will be the strongest reminder that at this stage of life, your existence no longer needs to justify its right to peace. Remember, with all the strength of your dignity, your peace is not to be negotiated, not to be requested, not to be explained. It is to be lived. And when you choose it without permission, without apologies, and without fear, that peace becomes the immediate happiness so many search for outside, yet only you can protect from within. If this message resonates with you, consider sharing your experience in the comments below. Write the phrase, I claim my peace, along with the city you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more insights on living a fulfilling life after 60. Final thoughts. We've reached the end of this journey, and if you're still here, it's because deep down you know that happiness doesn't depend on what the world gives you, but on what you dare to let go. Today, we didn't talk about magic formulas or empty promises. We spoke about 9 burdens that, if you don't release them, will keep stealing your peace, your energy, and your dignity. Each point was an invitation to face what no longer belongs, to recognize that what ages you most isn't the passing of years, but the habit of clinging to what hurts. If you've listened to every word, it means you're ready for a different step. It's not about changing your life all at once, but about daring to begin with one small gesture. Stop complaining. Stop comparing. Give away one object. Silence conversations that only drain you. Let go of those who subtract. Stop justifying yourself. Dare to change. Release resentment. And finally, defend your peace without asking permission. 9 decisions that may seem simple, but together they form a profound shift. The path to a lighter life, more truly yours, more free. I want to thank you for staying until the end. Not everyone makes it here. Only those with the courage to listen to themselves and the humility to change remain until the last word. You are part of this community of seekers of dignity and serenity, and that already says so much about you. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe and share your experience in the comments with the phrase, I choose to awaken, along with the city where you're watching from. That gesture isn't just a ritual. It's a reminder that you are not alone, that there are thousands of men and women in this community defending their dignity right alongside you. Because what we've shared today doesn't end here. In the next videos, we'll keep uncovering warnings, seeds of wisdom, and paths to vitality that can transform the way you live after 60. And always remember, your happiness does not depend on anyone's permission. True freedom begins when you choose what deserves to stay and dare to throw away everything else.